that make you feel sad, because I have a beautiful presentation to make, and I dedicate it all to my grandfather today. So today my talk will be about a biodiversity conservation and youth development project that we're conducting in central Turkey to save a population of white-headed ducks. So a little bit about me. I'm a PhD candidate in ecology, and I'm also a research assistant. And I'm also a volunteering research manager at a conservation NGO in Turkey, which I will be introducing to you in a while. And my study species, they are mostly water birds and endangered birds. I can say that in general, it's birds. And my fields of study are community ecology, functional ecology, and conservation biology. I'm also an observing executive committee member at Migrant Land Bird Study Group. And if you ever need to contact me, please feel free to do so by using my email that I give here. And also you can find me on Twitter, which I don't use too much, but yeah, I check it every now and then. And now about our NGO. So our NGO, it's called Simurg Bird Sanctuary, or in short, SBS. It was established in 2019. It's a little bit more than 2 years old now, but it has achieved a lot. And it's, of course, a nonprofit NGO, and its work focuses mostly on rehabilitation of wild and captive birds. And it's we also do a lot of work to preserve habitats and bird populations by using scientific studies and or by also using education programs. And we also do a lot of active lobbying, and we have achieved a lot of good stuff thanks to our lobbying. And if you want to follow our gorgeous work, please find us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter by using the handles that are given here. I'll stop here just so if you want to take any notes or simply try to find it. Anyway, so about my country, Turkey. So Turkey is going through a biodiversity crisis, like many other countries in the world, but we rank quite low in biodiversity and habitat conservation. But we have an astonishing biodiversity, including birds. We have almost 500 bird species, and we have the highest richness, unfortunately, of threatened birds in Europe, which can be an advantage and disadvantage. And by the way, we share this honor with Russia. And Turkey has also a special geographical position. It's located at the heart of the flyway. It's located at the intersection of two major flyways, and thanks to its geographical position, it has several bottlenecks. It's also an important wintering ground for lots of birds in the Western Palearctic, and it's also an important breeding ground for many bird species. And so our study site, Lake Mogan, it is located in the capital of Turkey, Ankara, and it's an important bird area. It's a medium-sized lake. It's also shallow and eutrophic, and it looks kind of like this. It is located near a district of Ankara, and it has an exceptionally rich avifauna with nearly 300 bird species. It hosts important populations of wintering and migrating birds, and it's also it has a couple of globally threatened duck species breeding in it, and one of them being our study species, beautiful white-headed ducks. And it's also one of the few remaining white-headed duck breeding grounds in central Turkey. And our study species are white-headed ducks, which happen to be extremely gorgeous. The males, they have iconic blue bills, but the females are even more beautiful and their chicks are cuter. So, but unfortunately, these ducks are globally endangered. They're probably, this number is a little bit old. There may be a little bit more than this currently. I don't know. That's what I think and hope. And Turkey holds, according to the latest estimates in 2019, we have 80 to 125 breeding pairs of white-headed ducks in Turkey. In our study area, we only have 2 to 4 breeding pairs. That's according to the latest estimates done by me. That might not be correct, by the way, because we seem to have a little bit more than that currently, but we'll see. So there are a couple of more things that you need to know about our species. It's a diving duck that feeds on invertebrates, mostly on invertebrates that live in the mud, the bottom mud of the lakes. These are actually non-biting midge larvae called chronomids, so that's their major food source. And what you also need to know about them is that they compete with carps and other cyprinids or bentivorous fish, or for their invertebrate sources that dwell in the mud. And they also have really specific habitat requirements. Here I have put a satellite imagery that I have obtained from Google Earth. This shows the only known breeding ground of white-headed ducks in our study site, and they require exactly this: patches of reeds, continuous reeds, small patches, and also they require some open pools of water that's not too shallow so that they can feed. So that is their breeding site. So it was in 2018 and 19, I was leading another project on white-headed ducks of central Anatolia. We decided to visit the only breeding ground, which is this part of our study site, Lake Mogan. So it was really difficult to get there. And our study was, my study was back then funded by the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund. So we entered these pools, and our major purpose was to actually photograph species. But after entering these pools, I saw something interesting. So upon entering the pools, I saw that it was August, by the way. That's like the top of the algal bloom in the lake. So that's summer, it's quite hot. The lake is full of phytoplankton and algae, so it goes all green at eutrophication. But upon entering these pools, I have seen that this part of the lake had a way clearer water. And that was surprising because that was right in the middle of the summer. And the rest of the lake had lots of algae and phytoplankton, but this part did not. The water was clear and it was full of zooplankton. And I thought that maybe this part of the lake is special. Maybe there aren't, too many carps here, because young of the carp, they feed on zooplankton, and zooplankton in return, by the way, they feed on phytoplankton or algae, and they keep eutrophication at bay. So if you have too many carps, their youngs, they also feed on zooplankton, and zooplankton cannot feed on phytoplankton, and you get a little bit more eutrophication. So maybe I thought that this part of the lake does not have too many carps, and that might be because this part has lots of predator fish like pike. So I thought there's something special about this part of the lake. So I have formulated some research questions to understand what really is driving the breeding site selection of white-headed ducks at a micro scale. So now we are examining all these things. We are looking at relative abundances of fish. We will be looking at submerged plants, aquatic plants, and also the density of their major food source, which is the larva that you're seeing here. It's a chironomid larvae, density and diversity of them, and also presence of other birds, reed patchiness, reed coverage, all the usual stuff. And as a part of this project, now we're doing lots of bird counts, watching their behaviors, trying to find white-headed ducks, trying to spot them. You go out onto the lake, take mud samples, filter it for the invertebrates. We also use some relatively fancier methods, such as drones. We're using them to locate white-headed ducks and also do some surveys. And we're also using, with the help of another lab, a tool called environmental DNA, which is a great tool. We do this to understand the relative abundances of pike and carp, different groups of fish in different parts of the lake. And up until now, what I have told you is an ordinary conservation or scientific project, but we have a lot of things that sets our project apart from all the others. The first one being the youth development part. So when I was applying for the OSME fund, I was calling this youth development squared. So we have in the world a shortage of female bird watchers and ornithologists. And this is even in the Western countries. There are even articles that have been written on this issue. So knowing that, I decided to target young female students and researchers, or they're mostly biology students, and we got them on our team. Now we have more than, I think, 35 or 40 female young students who we're trying to teach them about ecology, bird identification, the scientific method, even programming, lots of things. Now we're trying to help raise the next generation of female ecologists. And while we were forming our team, we paid extreme attention to be as diverse as possible. We have people from different ethnic backgrounds. We have people with different sexual orientations. So we are trying to be as neutral as possible, while favoring people who identify themselves as females, by the way. But still, we have a really diverse team, and we are really proud of that. And our project is also as green as it gets. We're trying to minimize our carbon footprint while doing all these things. That also means that, we need to pay attention to even what we eat. That means we won't be able to eat, high carbon footprint foods such as dairy and meat. We're trying to, minimize that. And for our food and other requirements, we go to the local stores, by the way. We go to the local restaurants and local markets that are mostly run by females. So we do this to support local economy and to empower women a little bit more. And what's also super special about project is the fact that it just keeps giving birth to more projects. Now we have 4 small projects that are, by the way, executed by mostly our young researchers, because we have also given them the opportunity to formulate their own research questions and formulate their own fieldwork or experiments. Now we have 4 such studies that are about cool stuff such as trophic mismatch. That's also that's something to do with the climate change, and also cool stuff such as functional ecology, drone surveys, lots of cool things. And also our project is quite multidisciplinary. Now we are collaborating with people who are limnologists, who are fish people, who are taxonomists, who are geneticists, statisticians, everyone. And in the end, we want to have lots of publications. We have lots of good NGOs that are doing great work in Turkey, but what they lack is they don't publish their results. We're not going to do that. We're already not doing that. We're already publishing things. And what's even better is we will have our young researchers as authors or even as lead authors in our publications. And I am super proud of this part, the publications part and the small projects part. But all of this would not be possible, of course, without our funders, which were French Embassy in Turkey, who funded the biodiversity conservation part of our project, and of course OSME, who was kind enough to fund the youth development part, which is going great. And we also got funds for 2 of our small research projects from the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey, TÜBİTAK. They're now funding 2 of our small projects. And currently, and we've been doing this for, 6 months now, we spend 8 to 10 days in the field, watching birds, counting them, watching their behaviors. When we're studying breeding phenology, for example, and trophic mismatch, we go out onto the lake, take samples, filter them, we go to the lab, we spend at least 10 or 9 days per month doing all this stuff. And we have really cool volunteers and female researchers doing that. And we've also had more than 20 online events. They were mostly educational events in which our young researchers learned about bird watching, ecology, and taxonomy of these invertebrates. They even learn about programming. We had a huge workshop on how to use our software to filter eBird data and visualize it. We even had people from Cornell, with the help of OSME, we arranged a webinar that was given by dear Colin Hanks. So thank him one more time. He talked to us. He talked about the tools that Cornell has developed and eBird especially. And so yeah, we had lots. I mean, we will keep on. We still are having these webinars and online events, but unfortunately, we already ran out of money. We're already on the minus side. But yeah, anyway, it's just going great. So, what are the challenges that we're excuse me? What are the challenges that we're facing? Excuse me. So, we have the invasive species problem. We have the carps being introduced to not only at our study site, but also in other water bodies. We have the Prussian carp, we have the common carp, we have tinka, the other cyprinid, that are big problems for diving ducks, such as common poachers and white-headed ducks. And we have this weird tradition to introduce these carps to each and every water body in Turkey. If we say water, authorities will come and put carp in it, which is detrimental. Sorry. So we also, for the first time, oh my, I'm sorry. So for the first time, we've seen plastic decoys of ducks. I'm just going to pause it because I'm going to keep on coughing. Give me a sec. I'm back and I'm okay. So for the first time this year, we saw plastic decoys in our study site. Common poacher decoys. They were not actually common poacher. They were, I think, canvas bags, but I think they were aimed at common poachers. So we also have that problem. We also have the problem of eutrophication, which is, by the way, giving an edge to the common carps. And common carps, in return, are making eutrophication stronger. So we have this positive feedback loop going on. If we have more carps, that's a problem. And we have a fishing problem that is probably the biggest problem that we have in our study site. We have lots of fishermen who lay several kilometers long gill nets right in the places where white-headed ducks and other endangered birds are breeding. And we also have line fishing problem, which can cause sites like this. So the beautiful male common poacher that you're seeing here was spotted by me 2 years ago in our study site, Lake Mogan, and he lacked his lower mandible. And when I talked to the fishermen in the area, because this was really close to where people was fishing, so he told me that one of the fishermen was using live bait when he caught this male poacher, and he tried to free the duck off the hook, but he couldn't, so he just broke his lower mandible and dumped it into the lake again. And I saw this bird and I couldn't see it again the day after, and the day after it was probably that it probably couldn't live like this, couldn't secure food, probably got, I don't know, infected or something. But yeah, this was really sad. And line netting, and this was, only 50 to 100 meters away from other diving ducks, such as white-headed ducks, so this can also be a problem. But I'm not going to leave you with this sad side, so I'll just bombard you with some beautiful bird photographs that we have taken during our field surveys. These are all taken in or close to our study area. Yes, and now we've also achieved some good stuff so far. We've been in contact with governmental bodies, including a minister who's in charge for Lake Mogan. We're going to have soon a meeting to solve this fish problem once and for all. And we have also been a part of a change in the plans of a recreational area, which was planned really close to the only white-headed duck breeding ground in the lake. So it was really close, probably almost as close as 100 meters to the closest white-headed duck nest. They were planning a huge recreational area, and upon doing some lobbying with the help of some other NGOs and other people, we convinced them to change the plans, and now they're doing the recreational area park construction a little bit further away. There's actually this hill here, so it's on the other side of the hill, which is good. Well, it's still something. I wish that it didn't even happen, but yeah. So with that said, I want to thank, first of all, my team and all of our collaborators and the people who have taken the photographs that I have used. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or find me on Twitter. And once again, sorry that I could not make it today. And I hope to see you soon.